Welcome to the Future of Recruitment podcast. I'm your host, Anthony Dan. For those of you that are new to the podcast, we talk with recruitment founders and entrepreneurs who share insights and thoughts on AI, partnerships, and the future state of recruitment. This podcast is sponsored by Brellard AI Systems. Brellard works with companies around the world to design, implement, and manage AI systems and business processes to make your company more efficient, effective, and profitable. For businesses who want a quick free audit, do just get in touch today and mention Future of Recruitment podcast. Today, I'm joined with by Paul Burgin. Paul is the founder and director of Hunters Legal. Hunters Legal is a specialist recruitment agency with over a decade of experience in helping law firms and legal professionals across London and the surrounding counties find the perfect fit. Well, I'll never be able to do it full justice, though. So if you're happy just to give us a quick sort of overview and intro of yourself, that would be great.
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Anthony. So yeah, Hunters Legal, we founded in 2017. We predominantly recruit into the legal sector within London. Our specialism really is the Legal 100 and sort of top magic circle firms within that space. Purely we find that's where the money is. So we focus on London with a number of clients that have regional reach. Um, we have a number of specialist sectors. So we particularly focus within the real estate markets, corporate, commercial, and private wealth, placing solicitors anywhere from sort of NQ level to partnership and team moves as well.
Awesome. And how did you get into this? You were in recruitment before, weren't you? Was it a couple of companies that you
Yeah.
worked at?
So to give you a bit of background, I've been in this now for I'd say 15 years. My story, I sort of grew up in a place called Lichfield, which was the Midlands. Um, as many lads do in elite school, I was a little bit unsure of what to do, and I fell into hospitality actually. So I did a HND within the hospitality sector, doing a sort of hotel and management course, where part of that formed some work experience at the House of Commons actually. So I went to London at the early ages. I quit the course in the HND and actually stayed at the House of Commons working in the hospitality sector for 2 years. Great times, some good stories, Anthony. But in all honesty, I found very quickly hospitality wasn't for me. Uh, Long hours,
To the MP
grueling
parties?
days. Yeah, some amazing times. So some great stories. I'm sure we'll catch up on those another time. Yeah, very quickly realised it wasn't for me. But one thing it did sort of give me was a lot of contact with quite high profile people. Being at the House of Commons, as you can imagine, there's a lot of exposure to that kind of high net worth kind of politician sort of outset. And I got a good kind of feel of kind of customer service at that level. So still didn't really know what recruitment was. It was a fairly new industry for me at the time. But someone recommended that I go for an interview in there. And in all honesty, I wanted to wear a suit and work in an office and earn more money. That was pretty much the crux around it. So I actually went to an interview with a company called Skill Search, which was the sister company for G2 Legal, which was the first job that I actually received in recruitment. Basically, I blagged my way through it. I think I did a Google search. As we didn't have AI back in those days, so it was a Google search working out what recruitment was. Um, Pretty much realized if you could build a rapport and let's say speak to people, it was a sales role. So I kind of blagged my way through the interview. They felt me out very quickly and realized I probably wasn't right for skill search, but they had a trainee position at G2 Legal. So the directors, Annette Thorpe and Stuart Gillespie at the time, sat me down and yeah, now I got myself in an interview for recruitment, which I didn't really know what it was, and then legal. So I was sort of double whammy of kind of trouble, but I'm navigating my way through. I think they liked me and gave me a shot and never looked back. So yeah, I was with G2 for a number of years. I then moved on as I progressed through G2 to a company called Grovelands, which was founded by a director from Deloitte and Touche, which was more focused on insurance recruitment, but with a legal stint, which is where my experience kind of fell in. And I headed up their first ever legal team for a while. Essentially, gave me the experience from the ground up to build a team around me with the right backing and the financial support. And then, yeah, in 2017, made the jump to set up Hunters Legal on my own. So, yeah, it's a kind of brief story.
Yeah, I love it. Was there an element of falling into recruitment, as many people do?
That's it. fell
Nice.
straight to the deep end.
And how did you feel making that jump then from going fully into your own gig? What was it 9 years ago?
Yeah, that's it. So if I'm honest, it was one of those situations like now or never. I always kind of had what I felt was a bit of an entrepreneurial kind of flair for having my own thing. I love the industry. I very much took to kind of, I guess, look at the sales aspect of that, kind of the sort of drive to work with companies that would essentially allow me to be an extension of them and help sort of build their teams. And yeah, really thrived in that. But yeah, going from sort of what was a comfortable monthly wage with a commission structure, as you quickly know, going out on your own is a very different kettle of fish. And again, you learn a lot about kind of money management, accountancy, the ins and outs of running a business, which again is all sort of shouldered through for you when you work for a company. So very quickly, it was learning all the sort of pillars of the business to succeed. So lots of ups and downs. I'm sure many people find, but yeah, it was again, profitable first and second year. We did really well, exceeded what I expected to do in my first year. And again, on the second, kind of never looked back from there, really. So, yeah, had a good start, but I think a lot of it was grit and determination, in all honesty.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, banging your head against a brick wall and then finally going
Yeah.
through.
Yeah. A
How
lot of it, I think, Anthony, was basically we were sort of, we were in legal recruitment, and I think we were very open to working with a lot of businesses, spread ourselves really thin at first, to now looking back where we niched down and again, very selective with our PSL clients. At that time, it was getting money through the door, which was the most important element for us, I guess.
Yeah, what I was going to ask is how it was those sort of first few years, because I imagine, I mean, I don't know a massive amount about legal recruitment. My background
Yeah.
was in tech recruitment, but I imagine it being a little bit more old school in terms of the people you're speaking to and the companies you're working with. But I might be completely wrong.
Yeah, I guess the difficulty we had was running new business. Again, I was founding my business on a basis of a client base that I already had. I mean, restricted covenants were an element there, but it helped the fact that a lot of the clients within those private practices had already worked with me before. And I think as a young business, trying to sort of tap into those new clients and to win new PSLs is particularly hard. So the other advantage I had, I think, was pre-COVID was there wasn't as many kind of one-man bands around. And I think what happened very quickly through that time in COVID is, it basically gave people the opportunity to work from home and effectively showed them that they could be pods of their own business. And I think we saw a lot of legal recruiters making that jump in 2020 and 2021 to set up on their own. Not all of those are around today, but it became a really competitive market for a short period of time. Um, the legal market was particularly strong through COVID for many reasons. A lot of it sort of industries sort of booms. We saw ultimately real estate, which was one of our strongest sectors, increase. There's a lot of obviously people trying to get out of their commercial leases in London. Lots of buying and selling of property, landlords wanting to get out of that kind of area. So yeah, it was a very profitable time. It was scary at first, but again, we had good years. But again, the competitiveness of recruitment went super, yeah, hyper through the first couple of years.
Yeah, I remember when we had our agency back then, initially it was a bit of panic, but then suddenly you realize all these other agencies have gone down back to their founders, some of them.
Yeah,
So it levels the playing field a bit more,
yeah.
and
It's
you're in a
interesting.
bit
We
more of
did
an
see a
agile
few.
space.
Yeah, sorry to from there. We said sort of like a couple of our competitors where perhaps they were working in house or for other recruitment agents. We saw the names pop up as independent limited companies, and we thought, right, they're going to be operating in our market. I mean, I I've been lucky, I suppose. We've had a great team around us. We sort of have a bit of a motto that we don't give up, and the hard times really define us. And we're still around today. And unfortunately, we've seen a few of those who've either gone back into in-house roles or gone back into the sort of recruitment market. So yeah, not all of those competitors are around today, which is fortunate for us, I guess.
Yeah, indeed. And are you just perm roles, or are you sort of permanent contract as well?
No, we don't do any contract. We do permanent. We do the odd contract position if there's like a locum role where it's a sort of maternity cover, but a majority of our work is permanent within that legal market.
Yeah. And how have things changed for you then? Because obviously you probably navigated a few different things from when you guys set up. You've gone through the sort of COVID ups and downs, and now
Yeah,
you're being faced with the new sort of AI resurgence. I know there's a lot going on in
yeah,
that space with AI recruiters and things coming in, but how have you found it in your processes?
yeah. It's been tricky. 23 and 24 has been particularly a difficult market. Part of me believes it is economy dependent, where again, there's been a lot of changes and a lot of uncertainty within that legal market. And one of the things that saw change the most was that lower level, entry level positions, the NQ market and certain junior sectors have dropped out for us completely. We just feel that's not the need to have the hands on deck, where firms are perhaps stabilizing a little with the work that they have already. Unless somebody had a book of business or could make an integral difference to a department from I don't know, opposing competitor, firms weren't really looking to hire. And I think with the added concerns over AI, it feels compounded. It's like, well, it's a quiet market. Now we're trying to work out what's going on with AI. For us, I think we got lost in a lot of the noise and distraction of it. Um, I don't know if it's quite there yet in recruitment. We're working with a number of suppliers, certainly to automate a lot of our processes, certainly from note taking, and again, identifying candidates that perhaps sit within our CRM already, just based on conversations we're having with candidates or clients that we can sort of then input. Those things are really helpful. But what I'm trying to teach our staff at the moment is it's very much still a relationships role. And one of the things I see more often than not, and when I talk to our clients, I only went for a meeting on Friday and spoke to a managing partner of a firm, is again, you still got to be likable, and clients are still going to want to work with you and believe that you have a in-depth understanding of their business to add value. And I don't know if AI can necessarily do that, unless they've kind of walked the journey of you already and placed within those clients or worked with them for a length of time to sort of understand the psyche behind it, who the partners' football teams are and what they do at the weekend with the kids. That relationship side, I don't think is ever going to be lost. So yeah, I've kind of gone back to basics a little bit. I'm not as concerned about it as I was 6 months ago, but yeah, keeping a really close eye on things in all honesty.
Yeah, and what's most of your go-to-market? Is it? I know you obviously you've got quite a niche of the 100 law firms, Magic Circle, etc. I imagine a lot of that's just more word of mouth.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things we really pride ourselves on is a referral base that we have, both again internally with our clients, but most importantly is with the candidates. And I think good people naturally know great people, so it's sort of trying to monetize on the placements or relationships that we already have, and more than ever, it's going back to those basics of opening out candidate calls. Yeah, they may be interviewing in the market already, but I'm sort of making sure our consultants are making sure every time we get someone on the phone, we will work out where they've been interviewing, what firms they've been speaking to, who else they're working with in the market that may be looking for role, friends, colleagues, etc. Just leaving no stone unturned, because I think we are battling against the AI recruiters. So I think we have to be super vigilant and a little bit more kind of careful with the kind of questions and monopolize on the time we have with those calls as well.
Yeah, so I think, like to your point, it'll be a people business. Um, like sort of my thoughts are like the first stage has got to be a human. Maybe stages 2 to 9 can be automated or semi-automated, and then stage 10 has to be a human again. So just maybe make
Yeah,
recruitment consultants be able to deliver twice as much, make twice as much. But then if
yeah,
they're competing against consultants that are still doing things in a manual way, that's
yeah,
where AI is going to not take over jobs, but maybe enhance those that are using it.
Yeah, I agree. I think look, there's elements that I really hope will assist, and it's like we always have the data kind of churn and trying to go through the CRM and keeping everyone relevant and up to date. And I think that's an ongoing task where we have resources who work daily on updating details. And I think some of the systems we've seen have become very outdated really quickly, and we've made that fall into that trap of jumping on with a supplier because we think it is going to change a certain part of our process for it to be superseded by something else a few months down the line. So I'm kind of cautious not to throw money at things until I'm convinced. One of the interesting points you made there, Anthony, is like the last point that we're super careful with. It's that point of for us where we have a 3 month notice period from where a candidate joins or accepts an offer, and that psychological journey they go through until they start. I think that has to be so human controlled in terms of how they're feeling through their notice period. The weekend after they accept the offer, when they've gone home and spoke to their wife and family, and they've handed their notice in, that journey of emotions, I just don't know how AI can be there to intercept those concerns, overturn negatives, reassure. And for us, that's a long process. That doesn't stop until kind of acceptance until start date. And even so after, we really pride ourselves on the aftercare and kind of the rehash calls when they're starting. It's how they're getting on at their firm. Are they getting everything they need from the client as promised? Anything we can sort of feedback, and yeah, just making sure they're embedding properly as well. And again, I do I get concerns at how far AI can deep dive into those and make sure they're overturning any problems or particular red flags that could come up in that situation. As seasoned recruiters know, you get that sense that you haven't heard back from a candidate for a couple of days, and would AI see that as a problem, or are they just going to still send the same emails just to chase up? Where actually we're picking up as that as a signal. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, there's that gut feeling.
But yeah, all too many times I've had that feeling and been right.
Yeah. So what's the future hold then for Hunters Legal? Obviously, you guys have come quite a long way. Are you going to be scaling up and
Yes.
taking on all the big boys, or keeping nice and lean and boutique?
Yeah, it's a great question. And we've really thought about this in detail over the last year. We've taken investment from a client that we worked with. I can't say too much at this point, but the view is for us is to be super niche. And I think the clients that we're working with, certainly our kind of largest city companies, are concerned about the size of some of the recruiters they work with and how diluted that work can come. Sorry, how diluted that work or those vacancies become within a department, and how much of it is process driven over having an expert working within that field. And the clients that we've sort of secured are preferring to work with boutiques, which is music to our ears. And I think we've captured that the right time. We had a very clear sort of 3 year plan of scaling up, where we have shifted that somewhat this year, more to sort of see how certain markets play out for us. There's a big turn in kind of real estate again. Private wealth for us is particularly busy. I think arguably one of our staff members, Stefan, is probably a leader within private wealth in the recruitment space in London right now. And I think being an expert to go to and a trusted voice, most of our investment, I think, for 2025, remaining of 2025 and 2026, will be very much in building personal brands within our business. So I'm really pushing out myself and Steph and the other consultants there in terms of become a personal brand and a go-to within the area that you're working in, particularly on LinkedIn, online. We're sort of building our Instagram pages up individually as well. So yeah, we're seeing a lot of increase in kind of shouting at with a go-to people in certain sectors. And I think that's certainly how it will change over the next couple of years.
Yeah, awesome. I think that's great. I think yeah, it's cool to see as well. Companies not having to grow at a mad rate to try and actually grow in terms of profit and revenue.
Yeah,
Maybe leveraging a few different bits along the way to make that process a bit easier and less
yeah.
less risky, I guess.
Yeah, I think a lot of companies, I mean, the view is, look, it depends what you're doing this for. And I think we're certainly at the cycle of we still love what we do, and the stories, the success stories of what we have, uh, are great, and we are making a difference to many lives across, say, the sectors we work in. And again, taking it back to the human element, we've made great contacts in that legal space. And the problem what we've seen is a lot of these larger agencies, they're losing that people element from it. And although they're very high turnover, their profit margins are so thin. And for us, I think staying lean, kind of having much, say, better profit margins to our competitors is a more comfortable space right now, especially with a lot of change. And we may still see a lot of ups and downs. So, yeah, I think staying slightly comfortable with the view to kind of switch and navigate and be agile where we need to be is going to play dividend down the line for us, rather than scale up too quickly and it become a problem if we need to pivot later down the line. Because I don't think we fully know the extent of this AI change yet. And yeah, it's something we need to sort of, yeah, navigate carefully, I'd say, Anthony.
Yeah, I guess that gives you the sort of breathing space as well to be able to work with every client and sort of take more time and care rather than just being a big firm having to a quota of CVs to blast out, etc.
Yeah, exactly. I think, look, one of the things we want to be really clear with our clients is the days of, yeah, the powerhouse recruitment agencies when they can be a full service in business to all of their legal vacancies is great, but we want to be specialists within certain niches. So what we're trying to be really clear to our clients is, look, we're going to be honest. If we can't fill a vacancy, I'm not going to take everyone's vacancies on with the promise of, yeah, we'll 100% complete this within a set period of time. We like, if we can get a retainer basis on a particular vacancy, that works really well because we're confident we can execute. But it's really staying focused on those niches. And again, I think with the AI sort of wave with the candidate resourcing side, it's being say a go-to name within those spaces will allow it a lot. Yeah, it's a lot easier to attract the right people, and again, manage that pool of candidates within those certain sectors as well.
Awesome. Well, look, Paul, I really appreciate you giving me your time today. If, what's the easiest place to get hold of you? LinkedIn?
Yeah, I mean, LinkedIn, obviously, our website, we've had quite a big investment to that this year. So we're super proud of our new website. So yeah, that's www.hunterslegal.com. Obviously, my LinkedIn is Paul Burgin at Hunters Legal. Pretty easy to find. But yeah, be sort of happy to hear from anyone who wants to reach out and ask any questions directly.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much for listening. Thank you very much, Paul, for being on the show, and
Okay.
see you next time.
Thanks for having me.